It is raining. Woo. Well, I'm alright in the basement, working away. So today is pretty much just going to be a day of cleaning, basically. As you may have seen, I've started on that first bit there. I'm not getting them out of order, I'm washing them piece by piece and putting them back in order. So I'm going to wash them in the parts washer, then degrease them and then re-grease them. So I think that's pretty much all today is going to be, is cleaning all the parts. Now, yesterday when I finished, I put up on a few of the Morris Minor Facebook sites what were people's thoughts on the pistons. Now, funds wise, I don't really have the money to purchase just new everythings, so I did think they were more expensive than they were. I've had a look and it turns out I think the 1100 engine is probably the cheapest engine to work on parts wise. All the other parts, pistons, rings, if it's for a 940 engine or anything like that, everything seems more expensive. So I think we've been quite lucky with the 1100 engine because all the parts are a lot cheaper. So I saw piston rings for like £131 for some of the other model engines, and they're actually only about £41 for our engine. So that's okay. They also do a piston set, I think about 120 quid including the VAT, but we don't have that sort of money. So what I'm going to do is, after chatting with people, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the pistons. It's definitely going to need new rings, but we might be able to get away with those pistons, and that'd be great. So we're going to go through all the parts today, we're going to clean everything up, and we'll see where we are at the end of the day. Right, okay, well that took quite a while to get that lot done. I'm just about to go and finish up the other bits to clean. Once we've done those, we can do the pistons. So let's get on. Alright, so I've had a few bits soaking in this bath, ready to put over to the cleaner. So if I get the names of these wrong, please don't. So we've got the camshaft, I think, camshaft, and then the main crankshaft, I don't know, but they're both going to get a good clean. Okay, so you probably can't see it on the camera because quite close up, this is actually quite dirty. I mean, obviously it's got oil on it, but some of the dirt on here is quite it's been quite persistent. So I'm going to clean it off. I'm going to put it back in, leave it to soak, and then come back and clean this again. But yeah, quite dirty. And obviously this is where we've got bits of the oil channels coming through this, so we want these to be really clean. Alright, so we're going to leave that main crank, I don't know what it's called. So we're just going to clean this up now, put some degreaser on here and then re-oil it. Okay, so we're now ready to look at the pistons. Now this is the bit, I don't know why, but this is the bit which has worried me the most, just because it's such a critical part, and I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing things, whether it's okay to keep these pistons or not. So I guess the first thing to do, I need to make sure I don't lose the order. We're going to have to take these the rings off, the piston rings, and no matter what, I'm definitely going to need to redo the piston rings. So we can take those off and then have a look at this and figure out what we're going to do. Okay, so there's our piston. So for now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it on the, whatever this is called, take off the bearing, and we'll pop it in the wash and see what happens. Okay, so while that first piston is sat in the parts washer, I'm going to go ahead and remove all the rings off the other ones because I've done it on the first one, so at the very least we're going to be replacing the rings. So I'm going to do that. Right, well, I couldn't be happier with that. Basically, I dipped all four of the pistons and left them to sit all night. So it's just the piston head. So the liquid level's up to about here, and you can actually see a visible line on the conrod where it's been sort of working at getting rid of this all night. Now, these two I've cleaned up, so let me show you what I was left with this morning. So this is the sort of thing when I picked it up this morning, and watch. Look at that. It just wipes off. So there's some of that stubborn burnt on carbon. Couldn't be happier. Now we've still got the real stubborn stuff. This is obviously where the combustion happens, and that's not coming off as easily, but it's made a real, look at that. Actually this one's come off a lot easier. And then the other part is where the piston rings are. We've got, you can really clean inside those, and you can see there's loads of thick gunk in those. Now this is the nylon brush side, which I'm using to clean the sides of the pistons. I don't want to hit this with anything harder like the brass brush. I just want to keep this to the nylon brush. So I saw another YouTube video which used the old piston rings to scrape out some of the crud which is in those recesses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these all a light clean now, and then leave them soaking again in the degreaser, and we should get these looking really nice. Once we've done that, we can then get the calipers on them and just check them, make sure that we haven't got any warpage in them, and just make sure that they're all to spec. And then we know that we can put new rings in here, but I don't see why there wouldn't be anything wrong with these. So yeah, really happy. Let's crack on.